Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez will happen in the next 3 years. He's going in there with guys who are smaller, shorter, and not as good as me.
Canelo Alvarez reacts to Jake Paul calling him out. YouTuber Jake Paul has recently been calling out Canelo Alvarez to fight. Alvarez is a huge face in boxing at the moment after winning multiple world championships in 4 different weight classes. Welcome back to the BDZ channel. Today we're going to be looking at Canelo Alvarez's reaction to Jake Paul calling him out to a fight. But before we go any further into today's video, remember to drop a like and subscribe so you can stay updated with all the latest YouTube boxing news. So Jake Paul is looking to prove himself even more in the boxing world and fight the world champion boxer Canelo Alvarez. At this moment in time, Alvarez is one of the biggest faces in the sport and quite surely one of the most dangerous men you could ever step in the ring with. His last fight was against Billy Joe Saunders back in May, and Alvarez landed such a powerful uppercut that he ended up breaking Billy Joe's eye socket. If Paul does end up fighting Alvarez in the future, this will sure be a huge test for his fighting ability. Jake Paul has been calling out and trolling Canelo over the internet for a while now, and even Paul's fans are starting to get involved. After Canelo won his fight against Yildirim back in February, some of his fans got in the ring and wore Jake Paul t-shirts to annoy Alvarez.
It's something that makes me feel strong, I feel fast, I feel comfortable. It's something, I think it's one of my best moments in my life. It's one of my best moments.
Okay. Do you feel Canelo?
After the news broke out that Jake Paul was interested in fighting Canelo, many people laughed it off and looked at it as a joke, as Canelo has a lot more boxing experience and has also been doing this for years, whereas Paul only started his pro career last year in 2020 and has only had 3 professional boxing fights. A few days ago, the press conference for Jake's upcoming bout against UFC Hall of Famer Tyron Woodley went down, and it got extremely intense. During the conference, Woodley spoke about how he's taking this fight very seriously and is training as if he was fighting Mike Tyson. Later on in the conference, Jake Paul continued to look past Woodley and look further into his career as he spoke about fighting Canelo in a few years' time.
I just want to add some experience to my belt. Look, I want to go after Canelo in 3 years. I want to be a world champion. And so if I'm just fighting guys who can't hit me, you know, how am I going to get better in the ring under those lights and get that experience? So
before we go any further into today's video and show you Canelo's reaction to Jake Paul calling him out, I do just want to quickly say that over 75% of you that watch my videos aren't even subscribed yet. So make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you can stay updated with all the latest YouTube boxing news. After the press conference for Jake's upcoming fight had finished, he was interviewed and asked about the possible fight between him and Canelo. Paul goes on to say how he thinks he's a much better fighter than both Yildirim and Billy Joe Saunders, who were Alvarez's 2 previous opponents. In this interview, he mocks the fact that Yildirim didn't even throw a punch during his fight against Canelo and that Saunders fights like a wild chicken.
Jake, can you tell me more about you wanting to fight Canelo in 3 years?
yeah, look, if Billy Joe Saunders, who fights like a wild chicken, can go in there and get a payday and fight Canelo and last that many rounds, or Yildirim, the Turkish warrior, can go in there and last 3 rounds, 9 minutes. The guy, Yildirim, didn't throw a single fucking punch. I'm a much better fighter than both of those boxers, and I'm bigger, faster, stronger, more athletic. So if those guys can go in there and hang in there with Canelo, can Jake Paul in 3 years go 12 rounds with him and beat him? We'll see. We'll see. Don't put it past you, because remember, y'all were the same people that laughed 18 months ago when I said, oh, I'll fight Conor McGregor, and no one thought it was possible. And now it's like, look, they can't even beat a 155-pounder. So it seems as if I'm predicting the future, and I think Jake Paul versus Canelo, not only is it a smart business decision, but I will perform better than the Yildirim Turkish warrior who couldn't even throw a fucking punch.
Jake, with the bets, the first one, he just kind of heard it, then just started the I'll beat your ass kind of chant. This time he thought about it a lot. Yeah. He kind of called out like, man, this guy doesn't have confidence. Did you see that both times? Is that the reaction you got from that?
Paul and Alvarez's first interaction over social media was after the Logan Paul vs Mayweather fight. Alvarez was clearly embarrassed after seeing the event and tweeted out a facepalm emoji. Soon after that, Jake Paul replied to this tweet saying, "You can't sell pay-per-views, I would eat you alive." Let me know in the comment section down below if you seriously think this is a fight we may see in the future.
Any words for Canelo?
Oh man, when are we gonna get it on, baby?
You got time in Spanish though.
How do I say that?
What you want to like? You want to come at
I
him?
want to come at him. I want to roast him.
Te voy a dar un vergazo.
Te ora y abarangazo.
Te voy a dar.
Okay, one more time. One more time.
Te voy
Te voy
a dar
a dar un
vergazo.
I feel like he's making me say something.
No.
All right, let me start from the top. Say the whole sentence. I can do it.
Te voy a dar
Te voy a dar un
vergazo
vergazo
cuando te vea.
cuando te vea.
Canelo has already said in multiple interviews that he feels like Jake and Logan Paul are disrespecting the sport of boxing and that boxing is not a joke. You can understand why professional boxers may view it like this, as it took them years to get themselves out there and make big money fights, whereas Jake and Logan just use their other platforms to get themselves an easy paycheck. Nevertheless, you can see that both of the Paul brothers are taking this sport very seriously and training extremely hard, so I don't think you can take that away from them. In an interview, Alvarez reacts to Jake Paul and speaks about his view on the Pauls disrespecting the sport. And he also goes on to offer Jake a sparring session. Canelo doesn't seem bothered by Jake's call out and would rather just spar him to show how good he really is.
Logan Paul, the YouTuber, is fighting your old friend Floyd Mayweather. What do you think of that, Canelo?
No, pues, no, you know, it's all about money, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree that people that are basketball players and are YouTubers get licenses, and I don't criticize it. This is a very risky sport, and when you go up there, it's very risky. So it's a sport that's risky.
I was gonna ask, Jake Paul, the guy who beat up Nate Robinson, the basketball player, he's looking for a fight, and he's calling out Conor McGregor. Would you have any interest down the road?
I truly believe that it's a lack of respect. It's all based on money. It's all for money. And I'm focused right now on other projects. I have other stuff going on. And I would invite him. I would invite him to for a sparring session so that we truly know what it's all about.
You think it's a little disrespectful to the sport to just think people can step in and
For true fighters, I do believe that it's a lack of respect.
And aside from that, that is it for today's video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, as it is completely free to do and I'd really appreciate it. There will also be 2 of my other videos on the screen right now, so make sure to click one and watch it right until the end. You will not regret it. And I will see you all in my next video. Peace out.